How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today we're going to be continuing my Sharks of Summer series. For those of you guys who are new around here, Sharks of Summer is a series I do during the summer where once a week, at least once, I take a look at a shark movie. And today, we have one that I've been wanting to cover for a bit. I saw it back when it first came out on DVD, before I ever did the Sharks of Summer series, and it really stuck in my head. So when I did the first Sharks of Summer, I really wanted to cover it, but silly me, I couldn't find where I put the DVD. Luckily, between Sharks of Summer 1 and 2, I managed to dig it up, and here we finally are talking about House Shark. House Shark from 2017, directed by Ron Bonk, stars Trey Harrison, Wes Reed, and Michael Merchant. In this movie, there's a guy and his house is suddenly the territory of this strange breed of shark. This breed of shark is a house shark, and it possesses the ability to live outside of water in someone's house. So he has to assemble a wacky team of characters to go into his house and take it back, kill and defeat the house shark. But it, of course, isn't going to be an easy task. I like the catchphrase, "You're gonna need a bigger house." And then I think on the back, somewhere it says, "Just when you thought it was safe to go home." I don't know, this is a really stupid movie. And I do want to say that this really is a horror comedy that goes super, super hard into making the biggest, dumbest, stupidest movie they possibly can. And boy, do they swing for the fences in this one. They really give you something quite bizarre. And I do want to say, you know, if you guys are fans of intentionally bad movies, think like Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, or if you guys are Troma fans, probably more along those lines. This really is one of those I can't believe it's not Troma movies. Really strange, bizarre, stupid movie. And I do want to stress that being intentionally stupid is quite hard to do. Most good, dumb movies typically come from a place of playing it off serious, and then a lot of people, when they try to do something stupid, can't really do it. I mean, think the classic examples. Birdemic versus Birdemic 2. Samurai Cop versus Samurai Cop 2. It's really hard to do a stupid movie on purpose, and this is one of the few examples that really, for the most part, hits it out of the park. This really is incredibly dumb, and it's something to really just sit back, turn your brain off, and laugh at the absurdity, you know, and for the most part it works. Now, I will admit, it doesn't always work, and there are some parts that are just, you know, off, and one of the bigger flaws is the runtime. It's an hour and 52 minutes, and universally it's agreed that that's probably a little bit too long for this movie. Yeah, if it had a tighter cut, we could have gone a little faster and it would have probably really helped the movie out. But that being said, it does give the jokes time to breathe and, you know, giving gags more air than they necessarily deserve, it can make them work a little more efficiently. So there is parts where I appreciate the longer runtime, but then towards the end there are some moments that do kind of drag out. But for the most part, a good stupid movie. And you get a few different types of jokes in here. Obviously, you're doing a shark movie. There's going to be quite a few Jaws jokes. And, you know, there is the whole "you're gonna need a bigger house" type of deal. And they do the obvious Jaws jokes. But the thing I like is there's subtler, and then some cases even super subtle Jaws jokes. You know, things like the scene where the sheriff's son is mimicking putting his hands on his face. You know, they didn't really need to do that, but you're going to just, you know, whenever you can think of a Jaws joke, you're gonna do it. You're gonna even, they mimic the music of Jaws in this quite a bit. You know, it's not the official soundtrack, but it's definitely a pretty close sound alike, and that's a smaller detail, but it does pay off too. But you get scenes where, like, the Saratoga, where he's telling the story, becomes the Parade of Homes, and you get, I'll never sell another house again, you know, because he's a realtor and not a Navy guy. So, some good, funny Jaws jokes, but you also get, just like I hinted at earlier, a real selection of very bizarre and strange, and a lot of jokes that I have no idea where they came from or what they're going for. For example, most of the characters in this movie are named after former presidents. I have no idea where they were going for this joke, but they really do keep it going throughout the whole movie, and I have no idea what the point for this was, but that kind of makes it hilarious in a way, something so trivial that they stick to so hard. There's another character that is half Native American and half Sith Lord, like from Star Wars. No idea why they decided to do this. This is a Jaws parody, but we're gonna parody Star Wars now, and he even has a very similar introduction shot to Darth Maul's introduction shot from The Phantom Menace. No idea why we're doing this, but okay, let's do it. Let's swing for the fences. There's another really weird joke where this guy's the head of his company, and he talks about what his grandfather would have done, and he has what's either a wax figure or a taxidermy of his grandfather in his office, but he's not just standing there. He's leaning forward and reaching out like he was a zombie, and he has him positioned in the room where if you sit in the chair that the guests sit in, the grandfather's reaching over you the whole time. And I don't know what this joke was about, but it's so strange and bizarre. And there really is that type of humor in here where there's some jokes that don't land, but there is some jokes that don't land so hard. There's some jokes that are so unfunny that they loop back around to becoming hilarious. You know, we talk about so bad it's good, but what about so unfunny that it's hilarious? There's definitely a few of those jokes in here, but aside from these specific jokes, we do definitely get a good amount of dumb fun. You get the shark fin in the toilet bowl. I mean, yeah, that's hilarious. And when you actually see the creature, it's not just some lazy CGI creature. It's this big, awkward foam costume they got a guy in. Absolutely hilarious to see this awkward shark walking around the house. And, you know, it does eat people, and you get to see little feet go in. And at times it even, like, it pulls out a weird sci-fi space gun for no reason, but all of a sudden, the shark's got a gun. What are you gonna do? The humor in this movie is very, very strange. And, you know, you even get, like, Looney Tunes elements. How do we lure the shark in? We'll dress up like a female shark. It's crazy. So the humor in here, stupid, sometimes incredibly crude, sometimes out of nowhere and making next to no sense, but overall, it really just gives it its all. It goes in 110%, and we get this really incredibly strange, stupid movie, and I really do have to appreciate it for that. And yeah, this isn't going to work on everyone, and if it doesn't work on you, the 152-minute runtime might start to eat at you a little bit. But that being said, if you're fans of, say, Troma, if you like really, really dumb movies, definitely worth a watch. I'm going to go ahead and talk a little bit about more plot specifics. I'm not going to be doing any major spoilers, but I want to say my piece on a few plot points and analyze the movie a little more. So no major spoilers, but let's dive in a little deeper. We open up with the dad. The dad is living in this house with his son. He's a former cop. And a great joke that they have in this movie is he has his sheriff's badge, but it's this clearly, obviously a child's toy sheriff badge. Great cheap prop joke. but he used to be on the police force. He's also divorced, and he's trying to get back out there and date again. Now, he leaves his son with a babysitter, and the babysitter puts him to bed. She starts to read a little bit. She watches a movie on the TV, which I'm pretty sure is one of the director's last movies. And after a while, she goes up to go to the bathroom. Of course, to go to the bathroom, she gets fully undressed. Why would she do this? Well, the Skinny Dipper and Jaws did this, so I guess she has to as well. But she's on the toilet, and the shark comes up through the toilet. We're opening up with a good bit of dumb potty humor, but yeah, whatever. And when the shark starts to pull her in, one of my favorite on the more subtle Jaws reference side is she bobs a little bit. Just like the Skinny Dipper in the opening of Jaws, she bobs a little bit when the shark starts to bite at her. Really good detail there. Anyway, the sheriff gets back home from his date just in time to see her get pulled in, so he witnesses the horrific death, and then we do a time jump, and we find out how he's been living since. There's a shark in his house. He can't go back inside. He still has to live, so him and his son are living in their backyard. They have a little dinky tent that's like a tarp and 2 sticks, and they're cooking cans of beans on their barbecue outside. And I just love, it's almost like how a kid would imagine they would live if they couldn't go inside their house. And just the idea of them in this little tiny tent is something that always cracks me up about this movie and something I always remember about it. But yeah, they're living in their tent, and the real estate company is trying to sell the house, and if they don't get someone to buy the house soon, the bank's gonna get it, and they'll lose out on all this money. So the problem is the sheriff won't let anyone in to see the house because of the shark, and without being able to do a showing, they can't sell it. So the real estate people decide to sneak in a showing, and they sneak a couple in, and they of course get eaten by the shark. And then we do get like a parody with the real estate agent guy, kind of like the mayor from Jaws. You don't understand. I had 2, 3 more showings after this. And they eventually get Abraham to show up to help. Abraham is a former realtor who had an encounter with the house shark, and he wants revenge. He's gonna be your Quint character. He's constantly drinking throughout the whole movie, and he has just absurd lines, you know. The shark came after me at one of my showings. He bit off both my arms and legs and left me for dead. Well, you have your arms and legs. The doctors sewed them back on. Just extremely weird stuff with this character. So he'll be Quint. And then the father, when doing research on the house sharks, finds out about this guy, Zachary Taylor. Again, they're all named after presidents. And he's sort of the marine biologist. He knows about house sharks. He can give the exposition and talk about how maybe to kill it. So he's the hooper. And for whatever reason, he's a German guy. I don't know where this idea came from that he would be a German. Very stereotypical and over the top. Again, another example of I have no idea where this movie is coming from, but why not? Let's just do this now. So the 3 form a team, and they're gonna go into the house and try to kill the shark. Now, this is another thing that I've heard a lot of people say with this movie, is when they go in the house to kill the shark, they thought they were going into the final act, the final 20, 30 minutes. But no, that's the halfway point. You see, Jaws had a 2-act structure, so House Shark has to have a 2-act structure as well. So when they get into the house, that's the going on the boat section. You got half a movie left. It's crazy. And granted, half the movie left, yeah, maybe this should have been 20, 30 more minutes. Like I said, even when I appreciate the humor, it still does go on a little bit long. But wacky antics ensue, they have to fight the house shark, and it does have some crazy, wacky moments towards the end. And one thing, they do keep it going pretty well, even when they do get all the characters stuck inside the house, they still come up with little bits and little gags. Like I said, the humor's not going to be for everybody. The more you enjoy truly stupid stuff, the more you'll like this movie. But this movie really does go bigger and harder than a lot of other ones that I see. Because, I've watched so many shark movies. A lot of times they're just low-budget movies that do a little bit of a humor, sort of as an excuse for why they're not better. But that's not what this movie does. It really embraces its dumber side and just sees how far it can push it to the point where it gets abstractly stupid. And I don't know, I've always had a soft spot for this movie. I always thought it was pretty hilarious. Yeah, it's a little long and not all the jokes land, but sometimes they land because they don't. I don't know. Anyway, incredibly stupid movie. If you guys like that sort of thing, I definitely would recommend it. Really, really strange. Anyway, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping the channel out. I'll leave a relevant playlist on the bottom. This should be my shark movies playlist. If you want to see me talk about more shark movies, I talked about the entirety of the Deep Blue Sea and Sharknado shark movies. I talked about some other Asylum movies like Two-Headed Shark Attack, Three-Headed Shark Attack, and some other silly ones like Sharkenstein. So if you want to see me talk about more shark movies, there's that playlist on the bottom. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Shark playlist on the bottom. Have a good day now.